Hey everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds of Risk. And today we're coming here from the canals and the water here at Las Colinas. On a pretty day in Dallas. Not too bad on August day. Not too hot. Not too hot. And I got the distinct pleasure of having on the show today my friend and quasi-neighbor, Will Pender. Will has been a sort of a center point of the construction industry here in North Texas for 15 years, and now you are the Gulf States president for Adolfson Peterson, correct?
That's correct. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So tell me what's going on at Adolfson Peterson these days.
Yeah, so Adolfson and Peterson, we're a national company. We have regions in Minneapolis, our Midwest region, Denver, Phoenix, and then the Gulf States. So all across the country, but specifically the Gulf States, we really primarily concentrate on Texas. We concentrate on the healthcare market, office, multifamily, and municipal, and now we're starting to get into data centers a little bit. So we kind of cover the gamut. I always say everything but roads and bridges pretty much.
Amen to that. So obviously with your responsibilities, you're seeing a large section of the construction across different states and different regions. And obviously the past 2 years there's been a lot of challenges with supply chain and labor. And you probably have the same issues everybody else has. But I was really intrigued. I saw you had an article recently published in the Dallas D magazine.
Yeah, DCEO.
Correct. Yep. And you were talking about sort of the trend in, we've all sort of seen there's a need for housing, but especially since the Great Recession, a lot of apartment builders sort of jumped out of it and didn't build it. And we got a large migration of people coming here to North Texas and other parts of the state. And there's also a lot of old office buildings that are kind of unoccupied or have high, 30% unused rate or something along those lines.
Yep.
So there was actually a new trend of taking older buildings, office buildings, and converting them to apartments, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we're working on a project downtown with Woods Capital and Mintwood Real Estate on Santander Tower, and really converting 12 floors of that building into multifamily. They've already converted a couple floors up top to hotel. Yeah. So it's really taking the old bones of these beautiful buildings downtown and repurposing them for what the market is calling for today, which is multifamily. People keep moving here every day, and there's a housing crisis, and so they see a need, and it's faster to market for sure.
Yeah, and I really liked your article. You made some pretty good points. First of all, if you already got like an existing frame with a foundation and bones that you're happy with it, that in itself means you can bring a project online faster, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So if you think about an average 20-story ground-up multifamily project, which is the bread and butter here in Dallas, Texas, you're probably waiting for a year on that whole frame to come up, right? And then you start your drywall and your interior finish on your skin. So you cut that whole year out. So your time to market is so much quicker. You're probably about 40% quicker than a traditional ground-up project, and really saving things from going to the landfill as well.
Yeah. And then also at that point, you made it sustainability. You're not having to get new materials as much for the concrete or for the steel. You've already got that in place, so from an impact on the environment, it's kind of less than brand new construction, correct?
Yeah, so it's not only not getting the new concrete, but it's also not tearing down a building and putting a bunch of concrete, glass, and other materials back into the waste stream, back into a landfill. You're repurposing it, you're saving the building, and saving money and time at the same time.
Now, are there certain challenges in that type of construction, whether the asbestos abatement that maybe you don't have to worry on other jobs?
For sure, yeah. So there's some asbestos abatement. There's also tying into existing MEP systems that you really got to look at. There's structural analysis. When you cut holes in floors, you got to radar and make sure that the floors can be cut there. Get a structural analysis on it. So there are some other challenges, but we do that up front with a risk mitigation plan and figure out what the risk is there.
Risk mitigation. Remember that word, guy. Risk mitigation. So as you think about your operations now, what's going on in Texas and the Gulf States, what do you envision is going to happen in the next couple of 5 to 10 years as far as the marketplace?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to boom. Again, I think we're seeing some of these microeconomic zones, such as obviously Plano and Frisco were always hot, but there's a migration out of these CBD markets like Fort Worth and Dallas to make little microeconomic zones in McKinney and Allen and Prosper. And so I think you're going to see the region grow as a whole, and it's going to be better for everybody.
Right. Hey, Will, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this presentation of 60 Seconds of Risk. Again, like all times, you can see this on LinkedIn. Please post your comments and ask any sort of topics you want me to cover. You also can find this on my YouTube channel and also on Twitter. Until next time, thanks.
Thank you, Brian.